Good afternoon. Today we are going to do a walkthrough of the optional SAT essay for the Colorado Provided SAT School Day this spring. Our goals for today are to provide district assessment coordinators and test supervisors with information to help students and their families better understand the benefits of the SAT essay. We also will describe the process students will use to update their registration, show you how to monitor those registrations, and then handle Q&A at the very end. All 11th grade students attending public schools in Colorado will take the SAT. The SAT without essay is the default registration. However, Colorado statute requires that all students be given the option to take the SAT with essay. That means it's an individual student choice. Schools or districts should not make policy decisions regarding whether or not they will offer the essay, nor should school or district personnel encourage or discourage individual students from taking the essay. Any student who wishes to take the essay must register for it between January 16th and February 14th by 10 p.m. Mountain Time. Bulk registration for the essay is not available. Each individual student may add the essay to their registration through their online College Board account or by contacting College Board by phone. SAT essay scores are not included in the state accountability calculations and are excluded from state assessment reports. The optional essay is only offered as part of the 11th grade SAT. There are no essay options for either PSAT 8-9 or PSAT 10. The essay itself is offered at the conclusion of the SAT testing. So once each section for reading, writing and language, and the math tests are completed, students will move to the essay. This essay requires students to make a purposeful, substantive use of textual evidence in a way that can be objectively evaluated. It is not designed to elicit a student's subjective opinion, and it really connects reading and writing in a way that both embodies and reinforces the interdependencies of these ELA literacy skills. We do use a consistent essay prompt, so the question we are asking students to respond to is the same year to year in all administrations of the SAT. However, the actual passage that the students will read and analyze are different from administration to administration. The SAT essay assesses how well a student understands the passage and can use it as a basis for a well-written, thought-out discussion. Essays are scored between 2 and 8 points across 3 categories: reading, analysis, and writing. For the reading score, students show that they understood the passage, including the important details and how they use key textual evidence. The second, analysis score, will demonstrate a student's understanding of how the author builds an argument by examining how the author used reasoning and persuasive techniques in their essay, and supporting claims with well-chosen evidence from the passage. Finally, the writing score will show students' responses evaluated for focus, organization, and precision, with appropriate style and tone that varies sentence structure and follows conventions of standard written English. There is no composite SAT essay score, meaning that a student will get 3 distinct scores for the essay. They're not added together, and there are no percentiles. The SAT essay is scored separately from the SAT. A student's score on the essay will neither improve or reduce the student's score on the SAT. The essay may be required from some colleges and universities, so we highly recommend that students be aware of the policies at any institutions they may be interested in applying to. On the College Board website, and we have the URL located here, students can look up colleges across the United States. So the example we have here is specific to Colorado. However, students can use this tool to look up any college or university within the U.S. If we take a look, what the tool will help students understand is if an institution requires or recommends the essay. They may say neither require nor recommend, so they're indifferent. And then finally, in some cases, we have contact institution for information. Typically, that's because we don't have a recent update from the school to help us know what their essay policy is. Therefore, we provide the contact information and website for the school so the student can verify either through the school's website or by contacting their admissions office. We do offer practice for the essay as part of the official SAT practice on Khan Academy. So students can access this at satpractice.org. And new this year, we have 2 practice tests, 1 and 2, that have computer scoreable essays. What this means is that the system's going to analyze the student's writing and provide specific recommendations on how they can improve their writing in the 3 areas that are scored for the essay: reading, analysis, and writing. Students will also get signal strength, meaning they're going to get a sense of how well the essay is measuring against the criteria. In addition, there are 6 other practice tests online that include practice essays. However, they are not computer scoreable at this time. Students can print them, can use them to practice, as well as use the rubric that we offer to evaluate the essays. Students can revise and rewrite to improve the essay and writing skills. If they are using the online area, they will be able to use the optional pre-writing area to provide an outline and organize ideas. And then tips and strategies are available to help students figure out how to approach the essay task in general. With the essay, we recommend that you share information with both students and their parents about the essay. The essay information is going to be emailed to your supervisors on January 12th, and it will also be posted on the collegeboard.org/Colorado website. There are a number of essay resources on our website today that talk about the essay, the policies, which we took a look at, the scoring guide, so how it's scored, and then there are sample prompts and practice materials available as well. From an accommodation standpoint, any supervisors are going to want to work with their SSD coordinator to review student accommodations needs for the writing task. Accommodations requests for new students will be submitted for all accommodation needs at once. However, if you have students that were already approved for accommodations, you may need to submit additional requests for them specific to writing. So for example, if you have a student that will require extended time for the writing test only, or if they need use of a computer to respond to the essay due to their disability instead of a scribe, you're going to want to submit a new request. Even if the student tested last year in 10th grade, you likely, because the PSAT does not have a writing element, did not submit for the writing activity. No action is needed if the student is already pre-approved for the extended time reading, MP3, or assistive technology accommodations, because those accommodations are applicable across the entire test, and so they do not need to be re-requested. And just a reminder, all accommodations requests must be received by February 19th. So let's take a look at what the process is to add an essay to a student's account. And we're going to follow one of 2 paths. This is a little bit different than last year. We've done some enhancements to help improve this process. So the first method is going to be for students that have an account. So they've already got a College Board account and they want to add the essay. So as I mentioned previously, all students that were included in the pre-ID file, so these are going to be any students that were part of your October count, will be registered for the SAT. Those students will then have the ability to go online and add the essay should they desire. So students may register either online at collegeboard.org or by contacting our support line and speaking to a College Board representative. In some cases, a student might also need their registration number, and we'll talk a little bit about how to get that registration number here in a moment. We do recommend having interested students update their registration during the school day, if that's possible, so that you can assist if they run into a problem. But if students will be updating their online registration at home, we are sharing the essay information sheet with you so that it can assist them while they are going through the process. And as a reminder of the deadlines, the registrations must be updated by February 14th by 10 p.m. Mountain if doing it online, or by 7 p.m. Mountain if calling to place the request. So now I'm a College Board student, or a student with a College Board account, and I am going to go to the College Board website and enter my username and password. If a student has forgotten either their username or password, they can use the links on this page to recover either one of them. Once they've logged on, they're going to go to My SAT. This option is also available by clicking on the little people sign at the top of the screen. Once they get to the My SAT page, they're going to see a listing of, hopefully, their test registration. So for all of your students that are in the pre-ID file provided by CDE, what we will do is take that file, process those registrations, and behind the scenes, we compare and link those registrations to each student's College Board account. We've done a number of process improvements here this year to try and improve the ability for students to see their registration in their account. So from a Happy Path standpoint, students would come in, get to the My SAT page, and they would see their registration on the page. And if they don't, then what they're going to need to do is call to place the addition of the essay to their registration. However, if they see it, they're going to click on Change Registration, this link, and that will take them to the Change Registration page. On this page, they're going to see a summary of the information from their account. In most cases, they are not going to see a photo here. For school day SAT, we don't require the submission of photos, so this will typically be blank, and that's fine. At the bottom of the screen, they will see an option to add the essay to My Registration. This is what they're going to select. They must make this selection before the February 14th deadline date. So if I click that, the system's going to ask me to confirm that I want to add the essay. I'm going to say OK, and it will take me back to the SAT registration page. And if I look here now, my test type says SAT with essay. That's how a student will know if they have signed up for the essay. If they did not sign up for the essay, this test type is going to read just SAT. And so a student may decide that they want to change their mind. If they change their mind, they are going to click on Change the Essay, which will take them back here, and then they're going to click Remove the Essay from My Registration. Again, they can do this anytime between January 16th and February 14th. However this account reads as of February 14th, that will be how we register them. So if they click to remove the essay, they're going to again be asked to confirm, click OK, and now their process is complete. If they don't see their registration on their account, then what they should do is contact College Board. So they may call to register for the essay. The phone number is there. Our phone hours are 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And so when calling, students are going to need to be prepared to provide their legal first and last name. This is the name that they should be registered at the school with, their date of birth, as well as their school name. It will be helpful if they also have their STACID or their SAT registration number when calling. This will just help allow the customer service team to find that student's record more easily. So now let's talk about the other path. So what we just went through are for students that have an existing College Board account. So let's talk about a student who may be new to your school and has never set up a College Board account. So for these students, their path is going to be only slightly different. The first thing that they're going to do is go to collegeboard.org, and instead of clicking to sign in because they don't have an account, we're going to ask that they click Register for the SAT. When they click Register, they are going to get to a login screen. Since they don't have a College Board account, we're going to choose Sign Up. In doing that, it will walk the student through the screens and the information requested to create a College Board account. The required fields as a part of that process are student's name, their sex, male or female, their date of birth, their email address, because that's how they're going to get notification from us or reset their password, their high school graduation date, and they're going to establish a username and password specifically for the College Board account. When students are creating a new account, we ask that you stress these are professional accounts. This is, the reason for this is students may need to access this after they graduate from high school. Because we are using this information to then match them to their registration that has been provided by CDE, we want to make sure they're using their legal name. So they should think about this as kind of a professional account for them as opposed to a social media type experience. Once they've completed the account setup screens, they will come to the SAT registration page. They're going to click Continue, and from here they will see that their personal information is preloaded or pre-filled based on the information in their account. They're going to click Continue, and they will be asked for their high school. To enter in their high school, they can use the Find Your School tool, which is going to ask them for their high school name, city, and they can do a search. Once they search, they can choose by selecting the Select button to add that high school to their list. They will also be asked to confirm expected graduation date and the current grade level. They'll complete their mailing address and click Continue. If everything matches to their account, students may not see this screen. It will automatically take them to the My SAT page. But let's assume that with the information that the student has now provided, we are not able to successfully link that student's account to the registration that was provided by CDE. So because of that, we are going to then show them a screen that asks if they've registered previously and what their registration number is. This is where it will be helpful to share with students, especially those who do not have an account, what their registration number is. That way they would be able to drop it onto this page, and that will help us to better link their registration to their student account. So they're going to choose yes, and enter in the registration number that you've provided them. We will look at where you'll find that number, but it is located in the detailed roster report that's a part of the educator reporting portal. Once they've done that, they're going to click Continue, and when their account has been matched to their registration, they're going to be taken to the My SAT page. This is going to look very similar to what we just walked through. Basically, at this point, we are in the same flow then that the other students went through. They're going to come here, and the Change Registration button will be available. That means they've been matched, and so they're going to click Change Registration. If for some reason the Change Registration button is not available, then the student should call College Board, and we will add the essay for them. Once they get past the Change Registration, this will look familiar. This is the same activity that we just went through. They'll come to the SAT registration page. They're going to click Add the essay to my registration. They will be asked to confirm it. And once they confirm it, that essay will be added. And so they are now registered for the SAT with essay. At this point, their activity is complete. But again, the students need to do this activity before the February 14th deadline. They'll then click Return to My SAT, and they're done. So now let's talk about ways that you can monitor the student's registration. So as a supervisor, it is going to be important that you know which students are signing up and how many students are signing up for the essay. You're going to want to be able to verify that interested students have been able to add the essay to their registration, and you are going to need to prepare for the number of rooms you will need for testing. During the opt-in window, you will be able to check the roster report that's in the educator portal on a weekly basis to determine if students have added the essay to their registration. The report is updated each weekend, and so on Mondays it will typically reflect the registrations from the prior week. So what we recommend, and we have a hint here on this page, is that students who are interested in taking the optional essay should be encouraged to register before February 9th. And so you will likely want to give your students a slightly earlier date than the deadline. And the reason for that is if they've registered by Friday the 9th, then over the weekend, their registration will be picked up in the reporting updates. That will then allow you to run the report on Monday and see the students who have registered. This gives you a couple of days then to be able to adjust and remind students who may still want to take the optional essay but haven't completed their registration. So they'll still have a couple of days then that you can assist them, and they can go online or contact College Board by phone to add the essay. So to monitor the registrations, the essay registrations, you are going to log into the educator reporting portal using your professional account. If you do not have access to the reporting portal, you're going to want to contact your DAC. When you come in and you run the roster report, what you're going to want to do is ultimately run the detailed roster report. Depending on your access, you may be able to log into the portal but not see detailed information. And so again, if you cannot run the detailed roster report, contact your DAC so that they can assist. So you're going to choose the SAT and SAT subject report, and then filter that report by grade and test day. What that will pull up is a detail roster that will give you the list of students that meet the criteria that you filtered on, their student ID, this is going to be their state student ID, grade level, which in your case we'll say 11th grade. You will see the assessment. So if you're looking at this to see which students have registered for the essay, any student where the assessment says SAT with essay tells you that that student has successfully registered. And then you will also see the registration numbers. This is a number that the system may ask some students for to be able to better link their account. And so this is the best resource you have to be able to share information with students to help them in their process. Once the opt-in window closes, so after February 14th, you're going to want to run the roster report that following Monday again. And that will lock in for you how many students will be taking the SAT with essay. Now you'll be ready to determine how many rooms you need, because students taking the essay must be tested in a separate room from students not taking the essay. Once the online attendance roster and non-standard rosters are ready, you can then further refine your room planning. So let's talk about some common things that you might need to know to help students through this process. So first, you may have transfer students. If you have a student who transferred from another school within Colorado after the October count, they're not going to appear on your detail roster report. And the reason for that is because they would have showed up at their old school. If they cannot register using their existing College Board account, you can request their registration number from their old school and provide it to the student. Or you may have the student contact College Board directly to add the essay to their registration. If you have a student who transfers to your school from outside of Colorado, so they were never included in the October count and therefore never had an ability to go online and add the essay, you, in this case, the supervisor should contact College Board to request an essay for that student. And the reason for that is that all students have the option. So for those students who were not registered in Colorado during the opt-in window, we want to make sure that they have an opportunity to take the essay as well. Probably one of the most common problems that kids are going to have is they forgot their username. They don't log into the system very often. It's been, several months since they logged in to look at their scores from last year, so they've forgotten what their username is. So to recover that, student can click the forgot username link, and what that will do is ask you for an email address. This is going to then send an email to you with the list of usernames. What that will allow you to do is have the student sign in again, and they should be able to access their account. One thing to know about this feature is this is a really good way to figure out if a student already has an account. So if you choose forgotten username and submit each of the email addresses a student may have, they're going to get an email back with their username. So you'll be able to quickly figure out if they have multiple accounts or not. If they do have multiple accounts, then that student is going to have to contact College Board to have them merged together into a single account, but it at least helps you understand how they can figure out what their account username is. The other common thing is forgetting your password. So this one is a little bit different. You're going to click the password link and then enter your username. So this is going to be your College Board username and your email address. What that will do is send an email to you allowing you to reset your password. It will also walk you through your security question. It'll ask you to confirm who you really are, and then it will provide an opportunity to reset your password. So you'll enter a new password and then confirm that password. Once those steps are complete, you will sign in again. If you're not available to kind of walk through these questions, there is a link to email the password reset information automatically to the email as well. So it's a two-step process. Next, let's talk about updating account information. So it's not uncommon for information to change from the original time that the student updated their account. They may have an address update. They may want to change their email address that's associated to their account. They may have changed schools, etc. So they can make those changes in the account settings area. And so again, this is one place. So maybe they have an old email that was set up, and so they're not able to get emails at that address any longer. And so they can log into their account, but they want to associate their account to their new email. So this is where they would do that. And again, we do recommend using a non-school email address so that after graduation, students still have the ability to access their score reports. And for SAT particularly, they can send scores still to schools. So let's talk about the next steps. First and foremost, now is the time to confirm your access to the reporting portal. Contact your DAC if you don't have access. And once we hit January 16th, you can go in and print a list of your students along with their registration numbers. This will get you ready and set as students begin to think about adding the essay. You're going to also want to share the information with students and their families about the essay. Review the online essay links, share the essay information sheet that you'll receive from College Board by the 12th. You're going to also want to remind students of the window. As I said, the window opens January 16th and it closes on February 14th. The time it closes depends on the method that the student is using. If they're going to go online and add the essay, they need to do that before 10 p.m. Mountain Time on the 14th. However, if they're going to place a call for their essay, they need to do that by 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then if the student does need accommodations for writing, you want to have your SSD coordinator submit those requests as needed. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please feel free to reach out to either College Board or CDE directly. We have the Colorado website listed there as well, where these materials, along with a recording of today's session, will be captured. And of course, speak with your district assessment coordinator. They should be able to point you in the right direction as well. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining today. I hope you have a great afternoon.